Okay. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be starting another reading vlog about The One. It is the third book in the selection series, and I've already done 2 other vlogs reading through the first 2 books. So yeah, I wanted to bring y'all along for this one as well because it's my favorite book in the series, the last book in the series. In my brain, it's the last book in the series. Technically there's 2 more, but I view them as like a spin-off. Because they happen so far in the future from this one that like my brain doesn't view them as the same story, even though it's like similar, same characters, but not like same main characters, if that makes sense. But yeah, I've actually gotten a good way into this book just like by reading it at night or random parts of the day. I'm on chapter 13, and my favorite parts of the book, or like my favorite stories of the relationship building between the 2 main characters, happen in the first 2 chapters of this book, and you really get to see how their relationship is blossoming and becoming a main priority in the main character's mind. I am going to let you know, like the other 2 reading vlogs, this will include spoilers because I just can't not talk about my favorite parts of this book because I love it so much. And so if you don't want to hear spoilers, I'm sorry, but they will be coming, and they will be happening. So yeah, it starts out just like, there's just so many small little things that are so like perfect in my mind. Obviously there's still like animosity. He doesn't really trust her that much, and so she's having to regain his trust and all the things. But like, I think the main part that I like about this book, I've previously stated in the other books that I am not Team Aspen, which is, so America's the main character. Aspen is the guy that she was dating before starting the selection, and I'm not his biggest fan. I don't think that they're right together. I think that first loves really stick with you, but I think Maxon is her person. And so the first 2 books, she's still like torn between the 2 of them. But at the end of the second book, she chose Maxon, basically. Actually, first she chose herself and then stayed for Maxon, if that makes sense. It kind of doesn't, but like, so yeah, this book, she's already clearly stated that like she's no longer in love with Aspen, and that she's trying to figure out if he has a place in her life anymore. So yeah, and then there's been the only thing that's like changed is that America and Maxon have made contact with the leaders of the Northern Rebellion. There's like a Northern Rebels and Southern Rebels. They've made contact. Technically, the Northern Rebels made contact with them. Basically said that they are on Maxon's side. They want him to be king, all the things, and they'd help to fight against the Southern Rebels if Maxon married either America or another girl that they had on the inside. They didn't say who the other girl was, but their first pick is America, I believe. And so Maxon didn't respond well to that because he doesn't want to be told who to marry, obviously. And so that's kind of where they're at, is talking with rebels and trying to make the future better, basically. Maxon's really big on doing what he can for his people and all the things. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at in the book. Nothing like intense has happened really, which is nice. But yeah, I wanted to make a proper start to this video, and then I'll update y'all more as I continue reading. Okay, we are back to this lovely little angle. I think in my last, I don't know if this is the last reading vlog or the one before that, this is probably what you saw at one point, but I'm gonna update y'all on where I'm at in the one. I haven't been able to read it as much as I'd like, just due to being so busy with the semester. I have a very busy schedule, all that jazz. I started reading, after the last time I updated you, I started reading chapter like 13, I think is what I said. And Maxon and America were just about to visit the like leaders of the rebels, the northern rebels. They went to visit them. They snuck out of the palace to do so in the middle of the night. Aspen and another guard took them out on a like delivery truck kind of thing. When they were leaving the meeting with the rebels, they got shanghaied by different rebels. These would have been like southern rebels. They were pointing guns. It got into a big fight. Maxon helped America over this wall to get her away. In the process, she got shot. It just like grazed her right arm. The bullet did. And then she had to hide in the alley. Whatever. They found her. They got her back to the palace. In order to keep it a secret, they took her to Aspen's room, in like the guards' chambers. One of her maids stitched her up. All that jazz. Let's see. From there, I really don't think anything big has happened, but something big is happening right now in what I'm reading. Max and America have gotten very close again. They're at the point in their relationship where they both love each other, but they haven't said it yet, and so there's this bit of limbo of like he's wanting her to say it first, and she's not gonna say it first. I don't know. It doesn't really say why she's not gonna say it first, but she's not saying it first right now. So they keep having these sweet moments that are like, are you gonna say it? Are you gonna say it? You know? And it's kind of annoying. It's really cute though. They're at the point of the Celeste. What's the event called? It's in the great room. They're like the convicting. So they're sentencing criminals to prison instead of having them be whipped for their crimes. But this is a kind of backhanded way of King Clarkson getting revenge on the people who are against him and against his ways. And so it was petty theft that they're being charged for, and they're being put in prison for decades and or life. So they're in the process of that. The whole like point of the ceremony though is that the girls, in order to show their loyalty to the law and upholding the law, the elite, the last four of the elite, are supposed to be the ones to sentence the prisoners to their crimes. And America's like not having it. She's not comfortable with this situation because she knows what it's like to be so hungry that you'd want to steal. Not that she stole, but like she knew someone that did steal. And so it hits really close to home, and like they're doing petty crimes. Like why would they be sentenced to prison for life? So I'm at the part where she's supposed to be sentencing her prisoner. And as far as I remember, she does not do it. Yeah, she ends up handing, so like Maxon gave them little gifts of like joy that they're supposed to wear and that they can keep, and she ends up giving the prisoner, the thief, her jewelry to give to the king to pay back his crime. And then the king gets mad at her. So yeah, America's standing strong in her morals, all the things. This entire book just goes like back and forth on America doing what she thinks is right and the king getting mad at her for it. And I know the way this book ends, so like the way that it resolves is like kind of drastic, but also like I really couldn't have seen it coming to a resolution if the book didn't end the way that it did for those characters. So yeah, I'm on chapter, like, more than halfway through the book. I'm about to finish chapter 19, go to chapter 20. And yeah, I'll try to keep y'all updated as I continue reading this. It's been a long time since I've been reading this because it's currently like February 5th. And I started maybe like middle of January, end of January, this book. So yeah, this one's gonna take me a second, but I'm gonna read this before going to bed, and I will update y'all the next time I open this book, probably. All right, we are testing out a new angle today because I want to yap with y'all while I'm driving and just to talk about my book, but I also have to, you know, get to class. And so last night I read about 4 chapters. This morning I read 2, I believe. Okay, that person was zooming and didn't even stop to let me out of the driveway. Live, laugh, love my life. Yeah, last night it was the, oh, I keep forgetting the word. It's not christening, that's a very different thing. Where America was supposed to convict, the conviction, there we go, where America was supposed to convict prisoner. I told y'all how that ended. The king was not happy with the decision that America made, ended up dragging her into his office, gave her an ultimatum saying that if she didn't show that she could comply with the wishes of the king, that he was going to kick her out and not let Maxon marry her, even though he technically speaking does not have the ability to do so. He would break the rules and do that. Okay, this woman is gonna drive me insane. I could have gone. It's okay. America, in the process of hearing this, was given the ultimatum, like, offer was for her to make propaganda videos saying all of these things, to tell people to comply with their castes and not be upset with what they have, basically. I can't go around you. What is happening today? I mean, good for them. Going on a cute little walk, but okay. America did not want to comply with these things because she would be saying things that she doesn't believe in. And Max and America kind of got into a little bit of a fight of, like, if America would have just said yes, he would have ended it right there and, like, proposed to her, basically. But she wasn't going to do that because she didn't even know, like, Maxon hadn't even told her that he loved her. She doesn't know all these things. She doesn't know how he feels because he hasn't told her. And so they're still in this limbo of, like, neither one of them has said that they love each other yet. All the things, whatever. In order to help make their relationship closer, Maxon ends up taking America to see his room, which is like the encompassment of his life. And one of the things that I didn't really mention about Maxon is he likes to take pictures. He carries a camera around with him everywhere. So in his room, the, like, focal point of his room that's like the culmination of his world is this gigantic collage on his wall. And in the collage is a lot of pictures of America. All the girls are on the wall, but there's a lot of pictures of America. And it just gave America a glimpse into who Maxon was again, basically. And the major shift of this entire interaction was that while America is in Maxon's room, a guard comes up to the door and tell her that her father died. And this, mind you, this is Christmas Eve. So her father died Christmas Eve. Christmas Day morning, she's supposed to go home. And yeah, so right now she's at home visiting her family. It's America, group of guards. Aspen is included in those guards. She took her maid Lucy with her, and then all of her siblings are in the house. They did the funeral. There was a lot of people at the funeral that she didn't recognize. And then they've been like housebound since then. And there's like some other things that they're hinting at that will come at the end of the book, which is very nice to see, that like the process leading up to all this information that's about to be like dumped at the end of the book, basically. So yeah, right now we're on the 3rd day of her visit home. She's home for 4 days, and they're housebound. And their father wrote them, America's father wrote each of her siblings a letter, personalized letter. So where I'm at the book is America's about to read her father's letter that he wrote to her before he died. So yeah, that's my update, and I will continue to update y'all as the story continues and I continue reading this book. I think I'm on chapter 25, so yeah, I'm a good way through. Alrighty, I'm gonna keep driving to class. Alrighty, I just finished reading The One, and so while I get ready for work, I'm going to update y'all on my thoughts on the last part of the book. Last time I updated y'all, I was on chapter like 25. There's 32 chapters in the book, so like basically the end. The chapters are pretty short. America was reading her letter from her father. It's very heartwarming, all the things, but her father ended up reopening. So he wrote the letter like 3 years prior to this book, but he opened up the letter back up and added a second note into it recently. And so when she got to that part of the letter, it was him apologizing for doing something that kind of broke her trust, but like she didn't know it broke her trust in the process. But her dad kind of confessed in a slightly hidden way that he was a Northern rebel, and that he was the one that told the two leaders of the Northern Rebellion about like the diaries and what made them kind of start contact with Maxon in America and all that stuff. And so she kind of got a glimpse into like the signal, the like sign of the Northern Rebellion. It's an 8-point star. So I picture like one of the little like drawings you see of a star. And so she was starting to notice like he signs his letters that way, with the little star. It's kind of just like everywhere that she's noticing. She noticed it was like on the tattoo of one of the boys in the conviction. It was on the jacket and the compass of the two main leaders. And so like she's figuring out the whole like connection between the Northern rebels and her father, which also makes sense because like she's named America in a country that does not talk about its history as being what used to be America, the country. And so yeah, all of that was fun. Her trip ended up being cut short because of because Maxon wanted her to come home, and she didn't know this until she got back to the palace, but it was because Maxon had decided to choose her, and so it was down to the last 2 people. He sent everyone else home. He planned to announce their engagement the next day. All the things. America comes home to a big party with all of the girls from the selection there to celebrate. And then she realizes during the party, it's her and Chris left, who's like also the like, Chris is in love with Maxon, and it's definitely like Maxon's second choice is to be with Chris. It's the safe option. Whatever. She notices that Chris has a star necklace, the 8-point star necklace, And yeah, so she pulls Chris aside. They have the whole conversation, and Chris fills America in on, like, she started the selection as being, like, true to her cause and wanting to create a bond between, or like a bridge between the Northern rebels and Maxon to get their points across, make a political statement, all the things. And then she did end up falling with Maxon, so that part's not a lie, but America can't really do much with that information other than, like, sit with it. So that was, I remember that reveal being crazy to me the first time I read it. It makes sense, though. And then after, okay, I ended up getting cut off while getting ready, so I wanted to finish talking about the one, give my final thoughts, all those things. When I left off, I had just talked about Chris being a rebel, and America went back to her room. Maxon ended up finding America in her room and giving her a late Christmas present. Her present itself is actually a house that he bought for her family to live in, and that was like his way of telling her that he picked her and that they were going to get married. And yeah, so he bought her a house, and then he also gave her an envelope full of letters that he had written to her, love letters, while she was away. And yeah, and then they had, this is a PG-13 book, so they had an intimate moment, but it wasn't like that intimate. He ended up spending the night in her room. They woke up in the morning. He started tickling her, whatever. In the morning when she was laughing, Aspen came in, and, you know, he was the guard outside the door. He saw them together. It was a whole freak out moment. Anyways, Maxon leaves the room to get ready during the day. America goes out into the hallway to apologize for Aspen. Maxon ends up walking around the corner with Chris to tell her, like, an update on what's going to happen before he proposes, technically, and sees Aspen and America all, not like that, but like real close, basically. And Maxon gets mad because he figured out that Aspen was actually America's ex, and yeah, that went down. Maxon got really mad, and because, you know, America was lying to him the whole time, and so ended up saying that he was gonna choose Chris instead for their, like, big, it's like a ceremony kind of thing to, like, be engaged. It was a whole to do. Yeah, at the ceremony, before Maxon can even say anything, it's like a big, like, it's giving like reception vibe. So like everyone's at tables, everyone's like mingling. Nothing's been done yet, but like everyone's enjoying the party, except for America, because her heart's literally like breaking because the person she loves, they did tell each other that they love each other the night before. And so the person that she loves is like gonna choose someone else and kick her out, all the things. But before that can happen, the Southern rebels attack by posing as guards. So they are in guards' uniforms. We're standing around the room as guards, and in order to like announce their presence, the like detail it gives in the book is that the first person they shoot is Celeste. And then things go crazy, things go wild, people are dying left and right, havoc is being wrought, all the things. A rebel guard is what it says in the book, comes up to shoot America, technically, and Maxon jumps in front of the bullet to save her, so he's down on the ground, dying. Aspen ends up taking Chris away because she's like hysterical at this point, gets Chris in a safe spot. America's like putting pressure on Maxon's bullet wound. They say the most beautiful lines to each other. My favorite quote from the book is in this scene. Maxon says, break my heart, break it 1,000 times if you want. It was only ever yours to break. And I don't know. Maxon has said a lot of romantic words in this book, but something about that one has always stuck with me. And I just think, I don't know, if you find your person, there's a sort of unconditional love that comes with the person that you're gonna like spend the rest of your life with, because you're gonna have to spend the rest of your life with them. Like, it's not always gonna be sunshine and rainbows. And anyways, the rebellion, the guards end up stopping the rebels. A lot of people die in the process. It cuts to the next day. Actually, America gets taken away from Maxon to be put into a safe room. She spends the night in the safe room, and then like collapses from shock when she's found. She wakes up in the hospital wing of the hospital, sees that like everyone there's a lot of people injured. A lot of people had died. The first person she goes to see is Aspen, because he's sitting in a hospital bed in the wing. His leg is pretty bad. He ends up needing a cane afterwards. And then this is like the moment that they show that like Aspen's moved on, and he actually fell in love with one of America's maids, Lucy. So Aspen and Lucy have this like heartwarming moment. You're like, where did that come from? Because there's like kind of no context behind it until then. And then America at this point thinks that Maxon had died because someone had said that he wasn't in the hospital wing, and she had assumed that meant that he died. But in fact, he wasn't in the hospital wing because he's the king now of this country, because both his father and his mother died in the rebel attacks. And so America goes up to Maxon, sees him in his room. He's like surrounded by advisors, all these things. He has a patch on his arm, or like his chest where the bullet wound was, but he's like laying in bed, fully conscious, all the things. He's alive. The like final moments of the book is Maxon showing America the plans to dissolve the caste system, and Maxon proposing to America. And then the epilogue is like, is their wedding. The like process of America walking down the aisle basically is all it is. But so that's like the plot of the book. I know I've shared basically just the plot of the book, but I wanted to touch on parts that I really enjoy on this book. This series in general is very near and dear to my heart, and I love reading it, and I love rereading it, because it really is like what has fueled my love for reading since middle school. It was a lot easier to get through than the first few times that I read this book. It was a lot faster paced than I remember it being, but it's a very good book. There's a lot of romantic moments in it, and just like, I feel like it romanticizes romance in my brain. It's not just like lust, and it's not just compatibility. It's the like the fighting for it, the earnest way of like just wanting it to always be there, but it's not easy. It's not simple. They're fighting, they're having disagreements, but they still come back to each other, and they still have this selfless love that they fight for. And I don't know, I just really love this book. So yeah, I'm going to also read, I'm not going to vlog it because it's not that long, but I'm going to read the like novella stories that come in. It's Happily Ever After, has 4 novella stories and like extra stories for different perspectives of what's happening during the book, before the book, after the book, all of the things. Technically, the series also continues with Maxon and America's oldest daughter when she is doing her own selection, but I don't like those books as much. I will probably reread them one day, but not anytime soon. So yeah, this will be the end of this reading vlog. I'm going to continue trying to make these because I do enjoy like sharing these, and I want to see what happens or what changes when I do one of these with a book that I'm reading for the first time instead of rereading, because it's gonna be completely different and I'm not gonna catch every single detail, and I'm gonna be much more shocked by everything. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy these videos. I know I enjoy making them and being able to reread my favorite book series, obviously. So yeah, if y'all enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please also try to go check out my other videos. I have cleaning videos, I have vlogs, I have all of these different things. So if you want to know more about my life, I'm here, I'm on the internet. So yeah, I hope to see y'all in the next video. Bye, lovelies.